welcome to episode 18 of the Mindful Knitter podcast. My name is Claire and I am your host today and every day of this podcast. Welcome to all new viewers. I am so happy that you found me and that you're going to hang out with me a bit today. Hopefully you have fun. We're going to look at some pretty yarn, so that's always good. And welcome back to everybody who is returning. I'm so grateful that you come and hang out with me every week that I podcast, I guess. And then if you hang out with me every week when I put up vlogs or other kinds of videos, then thanks for hanging out with me then too. I really appreciate it. And it's really fun for me to know that I have some yarny friends out in the world, and very fulfilling and meaningful. So thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope that you enjoy the yarn and the projects and the chatting. So it's been a while since I podcasted. It's been about a month, so trying to remember everything that I'm supposed to cover in the intro. I guess if you want to follow me on social media, or if you want to connect with me, more so following sounds creepy. If you want to connect with me on social media, then you can certainly subscribe to the channel, of course, but you can also find me on Ravelry as the Mindful Knitter Pod. We do have a group on Ravelry as well. It's just the Mindful Knitter Podcast group on Ravelry. And if you want to connect on Instagram, I am the.mindfulknitter on Instagram. And I post on there every few days, sometimes once a week or so. I don't spam Instagram. I try to remind myself to use Instagram. So I'm not posting on there all the time, but I post on there every few days, just like updates about what I'm working on or pretty yarn or stuff like that. And then you can also email me at clairethemindfulknitter@gmail.com. All of this information is in the description below, so you don't have to memorize all of that. If you want to connect with me, you can find it just in the description on the video. And you can also find it like the description of the YouTube channel. I don't know how many people actually look at those, but there is a description of my overall channel if you like click on my little face, I guess, and it'll take you to the different tabs for the channel. So all my contact information's on there too. So yes, if you are new, I am coming to you from the southeast of the United States, where I live with my husband Alex, our two Great Danes, Murphy and Nolly, and my two hamsters, Crema and Darcy, now Daphne. Although I don't know, I feel like her name is just gonna stay Darcy. I don't know. I thought that she was a dude when I got her, and then she got older and I was able to, I guess, identify what sort of bits that she has. And so then I was like, oh, Daphne would be such a sweet name for a little girl hamster. But Darcy is a cute name for both, so I think she might just be Darcy still. Maybe I'll have another Daphne hamster, who knows. I digress. So welcome again. I'm very rusty. It's been a month or more since last time I podcast, so I'm trying to remember what I even say in this intro part. But I think that basically covers it. So description of the podcast and the channel, I talk about stuff that like knitting, basically anything yarn related. So knitting, spinning, crocheting, and then sometimes some other crafty, artsy things as well, just sort of sprinkled in, but it's basically about yarn and mostly knitting. And the podcast in particular is where I talk about all of my projects. So if you like projects and looking at pretty yarn, you are in the right place today. I've got a lot of projects to show you guys today. And it's mostly finished objects because it's been about a month. It's mostly finished objects, and then I've got some whips and a needle adjacent project to share with you, and then some knit chat towards the end. So let's go ahead and get into it so that I stop waffling about in the intro. It's been a minute, and I'm going to take a sip of my delicious drink as well. So good. You might say, Claire, you're crazed for drinking hot chocolate in the spring. But I tell you, hot chocolate is for the whole year round. So good. And particularly this hot chocolate. I don't know, I have my own kind of recipe that I do, but this hot chocolate is amazing. It is, what did they call it? Spicy Aztec chocolate. It's very similar to like Mexican hot chocolate. This one has ancho and chipotle. So chipotle, ancho, peppered, in addition to the cinnamon that they put in the hot chocolate. And it's just, it like burns all the way down. It's so good. But you might not care about the hot chocolate, but you do care about the yarn. So first finished object is what I am wearing. Ta-da! This is the Dive Tee from We Are Knitters. This is one of their kits. And it is knit in the cotton, just the We Are Knitters, the cotton. As if there's any other cotton, I guess. The cotton. It is 100% Pima cotton, 232 yards and 100 grams. I had 3 balls and I've got this much left. I knit the size medium. So it used 250 grams about. Yeah, because this is a 50 grams, maybe a little over 50 grams that I've got left. So not too shabby. And it's so cute. It's so cute. It's so cute. I'm a real big fan. I'll try to show you a little bit better the details. I don't usually get all up this close to the camera, but you got to see them. So we've got this cute little like drop stitch thing going on the sleeve that mimics the little like V right here. And we've got the ribbing for the collar as well as the little sleeves. I did modify a little bit because the sleeves, I picked up less stitches for the sleeves than it wanted me to. And I used just a bigger size needle, and I think that worked really, really well for me. I was really having trouble picking up the stitches. Yeah, so what I ended up doing was I used a very small needle to pick up the stitches. And then since I was sizing up the needles to do my sleeve ribbing, I just had my teeny tiny needle on one end of my circulars and my big needle on the other side. And that's kind of how I did that. I think it worked out really well though. So I love this detail, and this detail is on the back as well. The fit is great, I think. It's very like boxy, which I like. So very flowy. Yeah, I'm a real big fan. Real big fan. It fits great, I think. This is just the kind of fit that I like, where I don't have to fiddle with it, even though my hands need to stay busy. So like if I like fiddle around, please pardon me. That's one of the reasons that I knit, because I have to have something to do with my hands all the time. Yeah, I'm just hugely into this. I did notice that I was getting some fatigue towards the end, not because I didn't like the pattern or that I don't like the yarn. I actually really like this yarn. It's very soft. Now that I've got it knit in a garment, it's very breathable. This is going to be great to wear this summer. Also, I haven't blocked it yet. So this is pre-blocking. So if the stitches don't look super elegant, that's because I haven't blocked it yet. So this will look even better after I block it. But I just kind of like threw it on after I was done knitting it. And I've just worn it a couple of times since then. So yeah. But what was I saying about this? Oh, I really like the yarn. It's very soft. It's very breathable. The color I think is beautiful. This is the copper colorway. But what I think was happening was 200 grams into this thing, I was kind of done with the solid color thing. If you've been with the channel for a bit, or if you've watched previous episodes, you probably know that I really like color, particularly variegation. I'm really into variegated yarn. And speckles too, but I like the change of color. So just knitting the same color for 2 months I think I was knitting this for like 2 months because I kept putting it down for like a couple weeks at a time, and then I'd pick it back up again. Yeah, I think just the same color that whole time was wearing on me, and I wanted a different color. So I just kind of bit the bullet towards the end and was like, I want this gone. I want it done. I'm about to start another big project. I want it done. So I did, and I'm very happy with it. I love the finished object. Again, it's so soft and breathable. It's so wearable. The only thing is I bound off too tightly, so I have to take my glasses off in order to get this over my head because it does not stretch tons. But that's just me needing to know how to do stretchier bind offs. Yeah, I'm a really big fan. So this was one of the easy, I think, difficulty levels for the We Are Knitters patterns. I think that they go beginner, easy, intermediate, advanced. I think that's how it goes. This is only the second one of their kits that I've done. So this was an easy one. So if you've just started knitting and you're feeling a little adventurous, this is a pretty good one to do, I think. It's also like, it's a great knit for even more advanced knitters, I think, because it's kind of just like meditative and like you just get in the flow with it for all this. It's knit flat, but you can knit it in the round and just split when you get to the sleeves part. So it's just kind of like you just knit stockinette. You just go. And then when you get up here, there's like a little bit of counting that makes it interesting, and you've got some ribbing. And so it's just, I thought it was a really fun knit. The only reason that I felt like I was slogging through it was because of the solid color. And I am not a fan of knitting with solid colors, apparently. I've done it a little bit in the past, and I think that was my problem for years, is that I hadn't discovered variegated yarn yet. So my knitting craze probably would have caught on years ago had I known the joys of variegation. But now I know, and I have a YouTube channel because of it, so here we are. I don't think I've got anything else to say about this. Yeah, it was just a really good knit, and that's all. Yeah, you can get it on We Are Knitters. And I'm not affiliated with them or anything. I just have tried their kit and I liked it, so I don't have a link for you or anything. So next finished object is socks. The rest are gonna be socks. Surprise! Look at these beauties. So these little miracles are knit with sport weight yarn from the Sheepyshire on Etsy. And this is I think it's Lily Pad. It's either Lily or Lily Pad, but I think it's Lily Pad colorway. Yeah. And then I did the toe in Knit Picks Stroll Tonal in the Seashell colorway. I really liked these. I cast on, since it's sport weight, what did I cast on? I usually cast on 56 stitches. Is that right? 4, 8, 12, 16. Yeah, 56 stitches. But when I do sport weight socks, I do less. So this was probably 52 stitches cast on. I either cast on 52 or a little bit less. What I probably did, I can't remember, it's been a while. I probably cast on 52 and then decreased a couple for the leg portion, and then increased back up to 52, or maybe even 56. I think I increased back up to 56 when I started to do the heel, because I did the German short row heel on these. And I know that I talked about the German short row heel with you guys last episode. That was the first time I had done it, so this was the second time, and I made up my own version of it because I did not like what I did last time. And I don't think I'm a huge fan of what I did this time either. They fit fine, but I just really don't like this whole hole situation that happens here. And I don't know if the fit is great for the shape of my foot. I wanted to try it to see if something other than a heel flap and gusset worked better, because till now, all I've done is the heel flap and gusset. So I really wanted to see if this was going to work better for me. I don't know if it does. That doesn't mean I'm not going to try it again. But I was not a huge fan of the fit, and I'm definitely not a huge fan of the hole situation that we've got going on. And the holes that I have on this are definitely a lot smaller than the holes that I had on the first stop. But like here along the side, let me see if you can see it better on the second guy. Not really, but like here along the side, you can kind of see there's some gaps, and I'm just not a fan of that. Just not a fan at all. The yarn is really beautiful. Like the yarn is wonderful, and I really liked the yarn. This was a colorway I had been wanting from the Sheepyshire for a long time, and I finally got it during, I think, one of their sales maybe. But it's, yeah, just gorgeous. This is exactly the kind of yarn I like to knit with. Lots of color changing. But yeah, I just don't think I'm a fan of this heel, at least not at this point in my life. So I will try it again probably, but not my favorite right now. I'll still wear these though. Yeah, so I knit these on size, I think it was US 1.5s. Could have been US 2s. DPNs. All my socks are knit on DPNs. I can't remember if it was 1.5 or if it was a 2. That's unhelpful to you. But I knit these like at this point a month ago, and I forgot to write down my project notes. I just whacked myself on the face. I forgot to write down my project notes in my crafting journal. So I've been real bad about keeping up with my crafting journal lately. At least when it comes to project notes. Like I'm still writing down all the stuff that I'm doing, and then like any kind of fun like crafty memories that I have, like I'll jot it down, kind of like a journal. But when it comes to actually writing down notes about each project, I need to improve. It's still so much easier than me trying to do all that on Ravelry. I am not good at doing the projects page on Ravelry, not one bit. But I like my little crafty journal. It's got cats on it. So yeah, I don't really think there's anything else really to say about this. These are, I don't remember if they're 100% superwash merino or if they are like a 75-25 blend. Again, I knit these a while ago and I just don't remember now. So that's unhelpful, but you can look at them on Etsy. Again, the Sheepyshire, very cute. They've got lots of really great colorways on there, and I'm very glad that I got these. I have so much yarn left over. As you can tell, I knit my legs pretty short. Like I don't knit shorty socks, but I don't know, are these like midi socks? I don't do a long leg on my socks. Because I don't like them. My calves are huge. I have been dancing since I was 2, and I have calves. Like I have to get, when I get like tall boots, I have to get the like extended size boots, and I have to get ones that zip or stretch or something. If they don't, they're just never gonna get on my legs. So I digress. That's one of the big reasons why I don't like socks that have a long leg, is my calves are way too big for them. My ankle is like this, and then my calves are like this. So I exaggerate, but seriously, the fit would be a huge issue. So it's just so much easier for me if I can just like pull them up and they just cover my ankle, and that's the sweet spot. So there we go with that finished object. And yeah, I have probably 40 grams of yarn still. I don't think I have quite 50. Since I only did the contrast toe, I did use a little bit more with these. And they're sport weight, so I used up more yarn that way. So yes, hooray, socks. Next finished object, more socks. These little gubbins are sparkly. Can you even tell? Kind of sort of tell. You can only kind of tell. How disappointing. Okay, so if you want to see these sparkle more, you can check out my vlog video from the beach, and there's at least one clip where you can really tell how sparkly these are, because I think I'm knitting them on the beach, and so the sun is like hitting them and I'm moving them around so you can see them sparkly on the beach. These I'm calling my sparkly mermaid socks or just my mermaid sparkle socks. This yarn is from Happy Mermaid Yarn Company. I have a project bag of theirs right here. So cute. So cute. Yeah, so it's Happy Mermaid Yarn Company. They are on Etsy. And this is the Lotus colorway, I believe, but I don't think this colorway exists anymore. I got this during their, I think it was their like after Christmas sale. And so I think this is one of their like closeout colorways that they were trying to clear out to make room for their new colorways they were doing. So I don't think you can get this one anymore, but definitely feel free to go check because they might have it and it's glorious if they do. Don't know how well it shows up on camera today. I think it shows up okay. It's this kind of aqua-y green base, and then you've got these beautiful little lilac-y lavender variegations in there, along with some little pops of bright green and some like darker aqua. But it's beautiful, and every once in a while you got a little speck of like a turquoisey blue. Super pretty. And then for the toes and heels on these, I used Nanette Wake Studio fingering weight yarn. The color, I don't have a colorway name though because it came from a pack of minis. Yeah, but that was a great use for that. Here's its friend. Yeah. For these, since it is fingering weight, I did cast on the 56 stitches, which is, I think, a size small most of the time. I think the 60 something, I think it'd be 64. The 64, I think, is like the medium size. So yeah, I cast on 56 stitches, size. For these, I did a mix, and I do this a lot with my socks, so you might know this if you've watched a few episodes, but I mix up my DPNs when I'm doing my fingering weight socks because I'm sort of in between sizes, I guess, and when I fiddle around with my stitches, it gets way too confusing, so instead I fiddle around with my needle sizes. So what I do is I use 3 US 1 DPNs and 2 US 1.5 DPNs. And that gives me just a tiny bit more room in my stitches so that they're not uncomfortably tight. I do like some good negative ease on my socks, which is one of the reasons why I knit a size small. But I think I am just a size small for the socks, because whenever I try to do a medium, within a couple hours of wearing them, they're like sliding all over my feet and they're really baggy. So I think I'm probably truly a size small. Because I got little feet, I guess. I don't know. I've never thought that I did, but now that I've started knitting socks, I've noticed it more. And it is true. There's some shoes I can't wear because they like slide around on my feet too much. So I think I've got fairly narrow-ish feet. I wear like a size 8.5 US women's shoes. So it's not like I have like super short feet. I think that they're just like a little narrower maybe. Who knows the mysteries of one's foot. So yes, that's how I knit these. The DPNs, a mix of US 1s and US 1.5s, and that gets me that good in-between size that I like. And again, for my socks anyway, since I do have smaller ankles, I do decrease like right in this area of the leg so that it can like hug right there. Otherwise it tends to get a little baggy and it like sinks down. So if I just decrease by 2 to 4 stitches, depending on the weight of the yarn, if it's like a really fine fingering versus like a heavier fingering. So I'll decrease down like 2 to 4 stitches right here just to give me a little bit of a snugger a more snug fit. And then I'll increase back up right before I get to my heel because, you know, my foot gets wider again right here. Like right, I guess below my ankle, like where the heel stuff starts, that takes up tons more space. And so, yeah. And then although I use the size small cast on, so I do the 54 stitch cast on for my heel flap, I do, or my gusset, I always get the two backwards. For this part, I think that's the heel flap. No, would that be the gusset? Oh, it doesn't matter. For this part right here, I do like 16 like repeats. So that would be 32, no, sorry. No, yes, 32 rows. Often it would be, I guess, 14, but I do 16 of the repeats. So I've got 16 of these little stitch guys going up, of those little slip stitch. Yeah. And then sometimes I won't decrease every other round when I'm doing my decreases back down for the foot. Sometimes I'll decrease like every third round just to give myself a little extra space right here, because in this like instepped area, I do need a little bit more room than a normal small would give me if you're decreasing every other round. I feel like that's a lot of information and it might be kind of confusing. If you don't find that helpful, please feel free to ignore it. But that's how I knit my socks, and that's how I've gotten the best fit for my foot. Yeah. And then I just have the rounded toe. So the kind of basic pattern that I have modified quite a bit for my foot is just the Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla socks on DPNs. Kind of basic pattern. I've modified it quite a bit with the decreases here, and then the mixing up the cast on and the repeats, and then the how do you decrease down here, like, so I've modified it a little bit, but it's basically the same pattern. She does the slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset, and yeah, she's got a great sock pattern. I love it. So that is these guys. Again, the content of these socks I can't be positive of, but I am pretty sure it is 75% superwash merino, 10% nylon, and 5% silver stellina. I'm pretty sure I'm remembering the fiber content correctly on that. But yeah, Sheepyshire, or the Sheepyshire on Etsy. That makes you these guys. Okay, I'm taking a really long time, so I'm going to try to speed it up. These next socks are for my mom for Mother's Day, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to film this podcast today. I never actually said what day it is. It is Friday, April the 29th. And this podcast isn't going to go up until like Monday, I think, though, because I'm going to be leaving in a few hours. So it takes longer than a few hours for these episodes to upload. And then I do not have good internet reception at my parents' house because they live in a farm in the mountains of basically Kentucky. It's like the Blue Ridge Mountain area. So yeah, I'm going up to visit to them. So I'll be in the car for several hours and I'll be with them all weekend. And so I won't have good internet till Monday. So this is going up on Monday, but I'm filming it now partially because I wanted to show you guys my mom's socks because I'm giving them to her this weekend for Mother's Day. Because we're doing Mother's Day early. I guess it's early. Yeah, so these really fun guys. I'll actually put the other one, a sock blocker too, since they're a little different and so fun. These were knit on, again, DPNs, but it was with the Schoopel, Crazy Zauberball. That's original. I don't actually speak German. The Crazy Zauberball colorway. Ooh. I don't know what that means. I think it's colorway 1564. I think that's what that is. I don't even know if you can see that on the screen. I don't even know if you can see that. It might be blurry. but it's a really rainbowy one. Oh yeah, it is color 1564. I don't, if you care about the lot number, it's 522276, but the color number is 1564. Yeah, so Crazy Zauberball, very popular. And I knit these for my mom. I actually have 3 skeins of this, so, or 3 like little balls or cakes of it, I guess. They're like balls. Yeah, if you watched my spring cleaning yarn stash reorganization video, you saw I have 3 skeins of this stuff. That's too many skeins. So anyway, my mom actually bought it for me years ago before I knew how to knit with fingering weight, had any concept of these things. I certainly wasn't knitting socks. She bought it for me like probably 5 or 6 years ago, maybe more. And because she loved it. And so I was thinking, well, now that I knit socks, and I haven't knit my mom a pair of socks yet because I've only been doing it for a few months. Well, since August. Yeah, so I knit my mom a pair of socks using the Crazy Zauberball since she got me this yarn so many years ago. And she really loved this yarn. So it is super fun rainbowy yarn. I actually did enjoy knitting these. Again, if you've watched for a while, you might remember that I've said I don't always love knitting with this kind of gradient-ish, this kind of fade gradient style in colorways. I don't know why. I just don't really love it tons. I have no idea why though. I couldn't even begin to guess. Yeah, it's just not my favorite. And I notice when I'm knitting socks like that, I tend to get really bored with them. So, but I didn't get bored with these. And I think it's because it was just so different all of the time. Yeah, it's different all the time. There's not really a color repeat in this, which might be typical of the Crazy Zauberball. I'm not really sure, but there's not really a true repeat in any of the colors on here. Like, even though these like look kind of similar, it's not the same. The same colors don't fade into the next little color section. So it's just really fun. I really liked these. My mom's I knit kind of like in between size medium and large. So I think I did cast on the 64 stitches for the cuff, but then I think I did increase up to, I don't know, I think I just increased up like 2 to 4 stitches total, probably 4 total, and kind of maintained that until I was doing the slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset. I went back down to the medium size, the 64. Yeah, and then I continued with the 64 with normal decreasing on the arch, or yeah, on the instep, just down. Because my mom's had a lot of ankle surgeries and injuries and stuff, so she has very swollen ankles and lower legs, so I wanted her to have a little bit more room down here, but to still have like a good little fit. So hopefully that works well for her. I do hope so. And then her feet are much longer than mine. So yeah, I think those will be really good. These have been blocked. The other 2 I'd show you had not been blocked, but these have been blocked. These are ready to go with me up to visit my parents this weekend, so I can give them to her for Mother's Day. So I need to put them somewhere where I won't forget them. And then last up, we have these socks that were blocking last night. They are almost dry. They're not quite dry yet, but they are very close to these to being dry. And these I'm knitting for a friend. She requested these for her wedding socks, which is so sweet. She's wearing some either Vans or I think they're Vans. I don't know. There's some sort of tennis shoe type street shoe thing. She's wearing that with her wedding dress, and she wanted some hand knit socks to go with them because this is the friend I taught how to knit this year, and she has been really enjoying it, and she hasn't tried any socks yet because she just started knitting. And we saw this yarn at Dixie Knits in Pensacola, one of my favorite yarn shops. And this is, I'll cut the tag for you, but she really loved this, and she offered to buy the yarn for me if I knit it for her socks, and she told me I could keep the rest and knit my own socks, because I had picked it up and I was like, oh, I'm buying this is amazing. And then she was like, well, I actually really like it, could you knit 2 pairs of socks with it? I was like, yeah, I probably could. And she's like, okay, well then I'm gonna buy it and you're gonna knit me wedding socks. I was like, okay, that's fine. I can't find the tag. I actually did already put that in my knitting journal. But this colorway, this is Opal yarn. And I did already talk about this. If you saw the beach vlog video, then you've seen this yarn, you've seen the tag. But this is Opal in their Van Gogh colorway line, which is so cool. All of the colorways are based on a different Van Gogh painting. This one, I definitely don't know the name in German, and I do not remember the name in English either, but it's famous. It's the painting of his bedroom where he stayed in. Oh, I can't remember what city he was in at that time. It might have been Paris. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But it's the bedroom that's very colorful that has all of these colors in it. And I thought that the way that they did the dye, I thought the way that they did the dyeing on the colors on this was just very clever, because, you know, Van Gogh paintings are famous for those characteristic little like short strokes that he does, and particularly like when he's layering colors, like he'll do these little like short strokes with the paintbrush of the different shades of the color. And I thought that got mimicked very well in the way they did this, particularly, you know, with the brown. So yeah, I thought that was really fun. So these knit up pretty quick, because self-striping yarns and self-patterning yarns are quick. I knit these again on DPNs. They were size US 1. It was a mix of US 1s and US 1.5s. Because this was a pretty fine yarn. It was US 1s, and then I threw in 4 US 1s and 1 US 1.5, because I wanted a little bit of wiggle room for her, but this is a fairly fine fingering weight, so I wanted to make sure I got a good fabric out of it. I didn't want a super open fabric. I wanted it to be sturdy. So these I did cast on again. It was kind of an in-between a small and a medium, because her foot does measure a little bigger than mine. It's not quite up to the medium size though. So yeah, all of my cast on sizes are so confusing, I feel like, because I kind of tweak it for everybody. But yeah, I knit somewhere in between 56 and 64 stitches. It was probably like 60 for a lot of it. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with these. Is one longer than the other? Oh, darn it. One might be slightly longer than the other. That's not what you want to discover while you're filming your podcast episode. Oh dear. Yeah, one is a little longer than the other. Although I think that might be just how it's blocked. Okay, whatever. I'll figure that out later. I do measure them as I go, but every once in a while something weird happens, like maybe I'm finishing it something late at night, and then one's like slightly longer than the other. I've never really had it be particularly significant or a problem in any kind of way before, but I do want to make sure that these are for her wedding, so I want to make sure that these are right. I think it's a blocking thing, because the one that looks shorter is also slightly wider, but I knit them the same, so. And okay, yeah, so so they'll be fine. Basically, when I blocked them and I was squeezing them, I probably squeezed one, and I try not to pull, but you know, as I'm squeezing, I can't help it but pull a little bit. So as I was squeezing it, I probably squeezed one in one direction and the other in the other direction. So one got a little wider and one got a little longer. Should be fine, especially after they've been like washed. They'll just even back out again. But yeah, as they're on her feet, they'll just stretch out to be her foot size. So that won't be an issue. Yeah, So the stats for that one, I think that the Opal is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon blend. And it's a pretty fine fingering. I think it was like 460 to 480 yards per 100 grams, somewhere in there. So it was fairly fine-ish. Yes, so that took a really long time to go through all of those socks. Part of that's because I haven't podcasted in a million years, and so I've forgotten what I'm doing, and everything's taking me so long. So we'll go on to finished objects. The first finished object, I'll just go ahead and do the other pair of socks. It's in my Happy Mermaid Yarn Co. bag because it's my favorite project bag right now. I love it. And actually I spilled some hot chocolate in it, which is so sad. So I'm going to have to see if I can try to wash it. I washed a few of my project bags just on hand wash and by themselves in the washing machine and cold. And none of them have ever had an issue with it before. And then I just air dry them. I don't put them in the dryer. I just set them out to dry. And it's been fine, so I might do that with this one. We'll see. So these socks are really fun. These are knit with Nanette Wake Studio yarn, which I haven't really knit with much in a long time. I just realized too, I never told you about the toes and the heels on these. This yarn, I dyed it, so you can't get it, sorry. But yes, I dyed this with Kool-Aid. It is from some of my hand-dyed yarn. So I want to tell you that. I think I used like the Knit Picks Stroll Bear to dye it. And I have several skeins that I dyed that way. Okay, so these are Nanette Wake Studio yarn, which I'm a huge fangirl of, and I haven't knit any Nanette Wake Studio socks in a while, so I'm really excited about these. So this is Blue Glacier. This is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. It is the fluffiest, softest sock yarn. I love it. And then the specs for it are, it's 218 yards in 50 grams. Because I just buy a 50-gram skein when I can for my socks because that's all I use for my socks. Yeah, so this is the Blue Glacier colorway. And is that not just so beautiful? It kind of reminds me of a reef a bit. So diving in a reef, and it's knitting up so fun. Look how fun this is. I'm such a big fan. And then the heel yarn that I am using is another one I dyed. Again, just with Kool-Aid. Oh gosh, everything's running away. So yeah, this is my sock project that I'm working on right now. I need to stop knitting on it and knit on my other stuff because I have other stuff that I need to be doing. But when I cast on socks, it's like I can't stop knitting socks. You might notice I didn't have tons of finished object for, at least for me, for a month. I had 4 pairs of socks and then this shirt, which was really more of like closer to 2 months project. I feel like normally I knit more than that. Maybe I don't. I don't know. But I was just so busy, which is the other reason why I hadn't podcast this past month, is because I've just been ridiculously busy lately. Yeah, so that's all I'll say about those socks right now. I'm just knitting them on DPNs. I cast on 54 stitches for them. Just the usual. But they're really fun and I'm really enjoying them. So this project is in my Stitchy Girl Studio. Yeah, a Stitchy Girl Studio. She is on Etsy. This is my Knittin' Kittens project bag. They're so cute. I love this one. It's a great project bag. And it's just a pink liner. I'm knitting another shirt. So when I got done with this one, I immediately cast on this one. No joke, it was the same. It was within the same hour. I finished it. And then I was like, all right, time for another one. This pattern, I'm not really using a pattern. I'm kind of making it up. But it's kind of, what I am making up is based on the basic pattern for this dive tee. But I am making changes. Like I'm using different size needles. I cast on the number for like a small for a dive tee instead of the medium. This is a medium. I cast on the size small because I sized up my needles. And like this is plenty flowy and it hasn't even been blocked yet, so it's going to grow, I think. So anyway, I digress. This is the shirt that I am kind of making up as I go and knitting up. And I'm doing it in the round this time. I knit the dive tee flat, which I think is the other reason why I was getting kind of burnt out on it. This is really fun. This is like knitting a gigantic sock. So yeah, this is the shirt that I am currently working on. I have gotten a little bit of the body done. So yeah, I've been working on this for just a few days, maybe like 4 or 5 days. I got real distracted. I made a lot of progress in one day, and then a tiny bit of progress in one day, and mostly got distracted by knitting socks and things. So I was trying to finish up the wedding socks, and then I cast on these socks yesterday, and well, anyway. So the yarn that I'm using is Juniper Moon Farm Cumulus. Such a cool yarn. It is ridiculously soft and fluffy. It's really like knitting with a cloud. It's amazing. I love this yarn so much. I can't tell you enough how much I love it. It's Israeli Mako cotton. It's Israeli cotton with a little bit of nylon. It's 94% cotton, 6% nylon. And it is 251 yards and 100 grams. Yeah, I love this yarn so much. It's so good. The colors that I'm using, let me see if I've got all of the yarn bands so I can tell you all of the colorways. Well, this color actually, the blue, is actually not Cumulus. This is a skein or a little cake I got from Dixie Knits last year during their semi-annual sale, and I got it for $1. It's usually, I think, $10. Yeah, it's usually $10, and I got it for $1. So good. This is the Evie Sublime luxury brand. It's 126 yards and 50 grams. Yeah, but this is also, I think it's the exact same for the, I looked it up the other day, but it's, yeah, it's like 94% cotton and 6% nylon as well. Yeah, so good. Sublime luxury brand by Sirdar Evie. So good. Yes, and it's basically, it's almost identical to the Cumulus. Almost identical. So that's what I'm using for my little like blue accent. The kind of khaki tannish color that I'm using is Lancelot Encore. Lancelot Encore. So it's just this nice little like tan, which I hope is going to be okay with my skin tone. Hopefully it doesn't look like I'm just naked. We'll see. It's very close to my skin tone. I'm pretty pale. And then the color changing one is the Cumulus Rainbow in the Lotus Flower colorway. So it's the Juniper Moon Farm. And the Cumulus. This is the Cumulus Rainbow in the Lotus Flower colorway. So we've got these lovely greens going up to this blue, and you can see it's starting to go up into purple. Then it'll go to pink and then gray. So lovely. I think this is going to be great. Ideally, I wanted the color up towards my face so that I wouldn't be washed out. But instead it's going up, and then I'll have the blue and the tan up by my face. But I'm going to try to do some sort of like color work up here with the blue so that I'm not totally washed out. We'll see how it goes. But this is just turning into the most amazingly fluffy, soft cotton sweater shirt. I guess kind of like a short sleeve sweater because it's fairly thick-ish. I did knit it at a higher needle size to try to open it up a little bit so that it wouldn't be so like dense and like hot in the summer. I'm cold all the time though, so I'm fine wearing a sweater in the summer, indoors at least. But yeah, it's still a little dense, so I think it might count as like a short sleeve sweater more than a shirt. But yes, I think it is delightful. I'm knitting this on a size US 10 needle, so I really wanted to try to open it up a little bit to make it less dense, so it could be kind of breathable. Because if I'm knitting with cotton and it's for the summer, I really want it to be breathable. So good. Such a tasty treat. I haven't had hot chocolate in a really long time. Like, maybe a year. It's been a long time. Okay. So this is kind of like my acquisitions and my upcoming projects. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I don't think that I am, though. Let's see. So I've got my shirt, my socks, my other shirt, and my other socks. Yeah. So we'll do this next. So this is kind of my acquisitions and my upcoming project. You will have seen this if you watched the beach vlog. This is my kit that I got from Dixie Knits. So good. I've already wound up part of the yarn. But this kit I bought for the Florida road trip mystery knit along, which I will try to remember to link a video in the description below for the mystery knit along. I'm very excited. This is the first mystery knit along that I've ever participated in. This is actually the first knit along that I've ever participated in. I hosted the Hygge make along this winter, but I've never actually been part of a knit along. So this is my first one, and I love the idea of the mystery knit along, so I'm very excited about this. I saw this kit at Dixie Knits and kind of had to have it. You'll see why. The yarn is gorgeous. So a little bit about the mystery knit along too. I might as well talk about it all at the same time. It starts tomorrow on it sort of starts tomorrow on April 30th. It is the Start Your Engines clue. And then the real work begins on May 7th. That's the first like clue. So you still got a little bit of time, and you can always join at any time. You don't have to join like right when it starts. But yeah, it's a fun mystery knit along for a shawl. I think that it is a V-shaped shawl. And you can kind of customize it. It's two ladies who are doing it, and so each section you can do one or the other lady's clue. So your shawl is totally customizable and unique. Each section you can like mix and match what you're doing, and there are beads you can do as well, but you don't have to do the beads. I have always wanted to knit with beads, so I say always. For a long time I've wanted to knit with beads. It's not like I came out of the womb wanting to knit with beads, but you know. So I luckily grabbed these beads at the yarn festival this last weekend, and it goes perfectly with my yarn, so that's very fortuitous. Yeah, so I think it's just going to be really fun. If you wanted, I'm going to be starting, not tomorrow because I'll be traveling, and I just don't think that it'll be a good time for me to start it tomorrow. I will look at the Start Your Engines clue, but I probably won't start knitting on it until Monday. Anyway, I'll be doing the mystery knit along. It'd be really fun if any of you guys want to do it along with me. If you decide that you would like to do it, then definitely let me know, and I would love to just stay in touch with you throughout the mystery knit along. We can share like our progress or whatever. Just have fun and connect and have a knitting buddy through the process. I would love to knit with one of you guys or more if you guys wanted to hop on this mystery knit along bus too. But yeah, it is the Florida road trip mystery knit along, and I'm not hosting it. I'm just participating in it. And I'm very excited. So the yarn that I got is, they recommend that you get a gradient of 3 and then like a pop that can be a variegated or speckled or just a pop of different color, whatever. But they say fairly solid, maybe variegated or very lightly speckled, but fairly solid gradient of some sort. So this is my gradient that I've got. Beauty, right? I didn't put this kit together. I got this kit. If I had put it together, I probably would have done something a little lighter than this. This is pretty dark for me, but it's okay. And then this is my pop of color, which is actually a skein I was going to buy anyway, because this is the Toes in the Sand colorway, which is dyed by Big Sky for Dixie Knits. So Toes in the Sand, which is pretty apt because the beaches that we've got over there on Pensacola Beach, and you know, all of the beaches in that area are pretty gorgeous. So yeah, it's actually, our sand is not quite this color. It's not this gray. It's like an almost white sand. So for whatever reason, this skein had more gray in it, but I don't really mind because of its use in this shawl. Anyway, yeah, so I was actually going to buy this skein when I went into the shop. That's what I went into the shop for, because I, for whatever reason, hadn't gotten the skein from them yet. And then I was attracted to the kit when I saw it. So I was like, well, it's got this skein in there. So instead of just knitting another pair of socks, why don't I do a shawl mystery knit along? Yeah, so this is gorgeous. I'm a really big fan of this colorway. I'm very excited to knit with it. Yeah, it is Toes in the Sand. And this is on their Star sock base. It's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards and 100 grams. For my other colors, this is Cool Beans. It's cute. Cool Beans. And then we have, I think this is St. Lucia. Yeah, St. Lucia. And then this is Summer Storm. Yeah, so this is like a really dark navy. It might look black on screen, but it is a dark navy. So very excited about these, and I'll be casting this on, I guess, on Monday. When you guys see the vlog or the podcast episode go up, I will be knitting on this very likely if I'm not working, which is also a possibility. And the beads that I got are these really beautiful, it says SPVO Aqua. Don't really know exactly what that means, but this kind of dark blue with like a mix of like green and purple, like sheen or luster kind of over it. So these are gorgeous. They're almost a dark periwinkle kind of color, but I think they'll be very pretty with these. Can I get all of this over there to you? I sincerely doubt it. Nope. You can kind of see, there's a sort of see. So I think that'll be really pretty. Very summery, very beachy. I'm a pretty beachy kind of person, so I'm very excited about it. There will be more beach vlogs. There will be more to come. I should do like a winter beach vlog too. That'd be kind of fun, because I don't know how many people get to see the beach in the winter. So yes, that's very good. I'm very excited about that. Again, if you want to do that mystery knit along as well, please let me know so that we can just kind of like hang out, I guess over distance, and knit on the mystery knit along together. That'd be so much fun. You don't have to. If you hate that idea, please don't feel pressured. So that's my acquisition and I have a lot of acquisitions, but this episode's already going to be long enough, and I cover my acquisitions in the beach vlog, and I'm working on editing this, but it'll be up fairly soon. I guess it's another vlog of the Fiber Festival. Best to believe I got some yarn and fiber for spinning at the Fiber Festival, plus other notions and things too. It was so much fun. Yes, again, I will be posting that video shortly. I just need to do all the editing on that one. So, okay, we've got the shawl, we've got the video. Oh yeah, see the beach and festival videos. Yes, so yeah, I don't really know what else to say about I put on here to talk about the Fiber Festival. It was my first Fiber Festival, and I had a really good time. I went on Saturday by myself and bought a bunch of stuff and talked to people. And then I went on Sunday with my friend and her mom, the one who I'm knitting the socks for, and enabled them to buy yarn and helped them find needles and different things that they were needing. And I enjoyed their joy and their excitement. And I bought more stuff. Some stuff that I had forgotten to get the day before, and then some stuff that I couldn't stop thinking about all that night. And so I wanted to go ahead and get it when I went back. And I chatted with some of the vendors and made a few more yarn friends. It was a really good time. So definitely check that episode out when it comes out. Let's see here. So knit night. Just real quick announcement for knit night. We haven't had knit night in a while. If you're new, you might not know that we have a virtual knit night on Zoom. This knit night is the upcoming one. It's a different day of the week because my work schedule has just been insane lately, and I'm not getting done until 8 or 9 o'clock at night a lot of the time. So I have blocked this time out on May 12th. So that's a Thursday. It was either Thursday or Monday, and I was thinking Thursday would probably work better for more people than Monday, because Monday you're just starting your week back and you probably got a whole bunch of stuff that is either on your mind or on your plate. But by Thursday, you might really enjoy having a knit night, because the work week's almost over and you're easing your way into Friday. So I thought May 12th was the Thursday is the next one at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, I thought 8 p.m. is not crazy late for everybody on the East Coast. And then it is obviously less late for everybody in the other time zones in the US. And if you're not in the US and you're in a totally different time zone, or if you're not in like North America, South America, and you're not in these time zones, I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. I hope you can make it, but I also recognize if you need sleep or if you're working or busy. But yeah, so 8 p.m. Eastern time on May 12th on Thursday. We haven't had a knit night in several weeks, so I'm very excited to see you guys and catch up and see what you're working on and all that good stuff. And then, and if you want to join in on knit night, message me. You can message me. I think you can message me on YouTube. I'm not positive though. I don't actually really know how that works. If you can't message me on YouTube, then you can email me, clairethemindfulknitter@gmail.com. You can message me on Ravelry or on Instagram as well. All of my contact information, again, is in the description below the video. So definitely get in touch with me. And if you want to do knit night, and I will send you the Zoom video information invite stuff so you can join in. Alrighty, and then two last things to mention before we close up for today is just a couple of podcasts that I wanted to mention to you guys. One of them I've been meaning to mention to you for a while, and I just keep forgetting. It's This Yellow Farmhouse. So sweet, so cozy. Like, her whole thing is like coziness. And her projects are just lovely. The aesthetic of her home is lovely. The way she organizes her yarn is lovely. Just everything is lovely. And I kept trying to remember to tell you guys about it, particularly it's winter, because it is so cozy. And I thought it would be great, great podcast material to watch while you are doing your Hygge knitting and you're cozy in your house in the winter. But I just kept forgetting. So that was a fail on my part. But I'm telling you now because now I'm remembering and I wrote it down. So it's called This Yellow Farmhouse. And it's just really, really sweet. And she's a mom of, I think, 4, possibly 5, but I think she's a mom of 4. And yeah, she's just got a farmhouse up north where she lives with her kids and her husband, and she knits and crochets and has a podcast. And she also has a podcast specifically for knitting and crocheting mothers called Mama Llama, which is very cute. And I've listened to a couple of episodes, and I don't have kids, but I am an aunt, and I've got several nieces and nephews. So some of the stuff that she talks about like even applies for me when I'm knitting for the kids or when I'm hanging out with them, and how to talk to them about knitting, like all kinds of stuff. It's cool. So yeah, I recommend it if that sounds interesting to you. Maybe check it out. And then particularly like in the fall and the winter, I really like her stuff because it's so cozy. And then the second podcast I wanted to mention is Rachel's podcast, her very own Rachel from Knit Night and from our Mindful Knitter community. She's got a podcast called Poised for Making, and it's so charming. She mostly, if I'm remembering correctly, because I have watched all her episodes, but, well, except her newest one, because it just went up, I think, like yesterday. Anyway, most of her episodes from my memory are filmed from her dorm room because she's a college student. She's an undergrad student, and she does most of her podcast filming in her dorm room. And she's got her yarn stash set up in her dorm room. And it's just so charming and sweet. And her projects are cool. So I think she's been knitting for a really long time, and she's pretty knowledgeable, I think. So yeah, she posts, I think, once a month. I'm pretty sure that's her kind of podcast schedule. And yeah, she's just fun to keep up with. And she's part of our community. So she was so sweet and gave me like a shout out in her, not last episode, but the episode before, I think. And I just saw it like 2 days ago. And it was so sweet. So, and she mentioned our knit night too, which was fun. So yeah, if you want to check that out, that's Rachel's podcast, Poised for Making, and it's very charming. So yeah, those are just the podcasts I wanted to mention to you guys that I have enjoyed and am enjoying. And if you need more material, then there you go. So I guess I will end it here for today because there's not a whole lot else to really get into. I've got another project that I'm working on for the next couple weeks that is not knitting related. It's sewing. I have a dance costume that I have got to alter because I have a wedding. I mentioned this before. I'm a dancer still. I said I'd been dancing since I was 2. I'm still a dancer. And I actually have a gig next week at a restaurant. So in a week, I am dancing for 3 hours, basically nonstop, at a restaurant. Sometimes the restaurants have you do like 15-minute increments, and then you have like 30 minutes to like rest, and then you have 15 minutes on with like the restaurant customer people and 30 minutes off. You know, this place loves for us to just go. If we need a break, we kind of like have our music set up to where it goes for like 30 or 40 minutes, and then it like stops, and so then we take like a 5 or 10 minute break to like drink water and like breathe and do whatever else we need to do. Costuming adjustments if we need to do that. Grab more props if we need more props or things. So anyway, it's basically 3 hours of nonstop dancing. So I'll be doing that this next week, and I'm really excited about it. It's one of my favorite places to perform. And then the week after that, I have a wedding that I'm performing in for the reception, which is going to be lovely. And my costume for that is so good. So good. It's very elegant with lots of pearls and sparkles, and it's so beautiful. So that'll be really fun. But I've got costume alterations that I've got to do because I've got to add more pearls and stuff. And then adjust some sizing for some things, because these costumes, unless you get them custom made, they do not come sized perfectly for you. So I always have to do adjustments to them. But yeah, I might post a couple things on my Instagram as I'm doing those projects, but I'm not going to show all that to you on today's episode because, again, I feel like it's long enough today. So yeah, I guess I'll end it here. It's been so long. I feel like I don't know how to close this thing anymore, but thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope that you enjoyed seeing the projects and the yarn. I had fun showing it to you. I always do. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Have a good time making and a good week. I will see you next time. Bye.